The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody, this is the Tax Lady, the tired Tax Lady. It's the 13th of April. Buddies, we got 2 days till the 15th, and so if you're scrambling, we want to help you to unscramble the eggs. So I'm here in studio with Chris Fabian. Hey, Chris.
Hello, Esther.
Are you tired?
Yes, so if anybody wants to send caffeine, water, snacks, we won't turn them down.
That's true. Trying to be good, but I want to tell you, when you're pulling these kind of shifts, it's tough. So we're going to talk taxes. We got 2 days before April the 15th. And if you haven't mailed in your return, even if you mailed it in or you sent it in, we want to give you some last-minute stuff you can look at, some important things you should think about for this year. If you have any questions, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and our text line is 3930, and we sure want to help you. All of our offices are open tonight until 9.
Correct.
And the only office that's open tomorrow, because the rest of us are going to be
sleeping,
calling
not
up
resting.
people to get the details ironed out. Then, of course, Monday we're open until the last client leaves because that's tax deadline. And so any question you have, if you haven't gotten your refund, if you got questions, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, 3930 on the text line. So important things is if you are, just some last-minute stuff, if you're a U.S. citizen with income in any foreign country over $10,000, what do they have to do, Chris?
A FinCEN, also known as an FBAR.
And why should I want to do that?
Well, because unless you want to get hit with up to a $10,000 penalty for not doing it.
Or half of the value of the account. So I was doing a brand new client the other day, and he said he had one of those statements from Canada, and I said, "Gee, do you have money in Canada?" He says, "Yes, we do." "Have you ever filed an FBAR?" And he said, "No, we haven't." And so I said to him, your penalty can be $10,000. You got to get those FBARs in. It's not a tax, but the penalty is unbelievable. So if you have more than $10,000 in any foreign country, and even though we love our Canadian friends, we to them are a foreign country, they to us are a foreign country. You got to do your FBAR.
Right.
And you go to FinCEN Form 114 to do the report. It's not real hard to do. It's confusing. I think it's more confusing than anything. But if you need help, EG Tax can help you with your FBAR report.
Right. And don't forget, if you're doing it yourself, you have to convert the Canadian money into U.S.
dollars. Right. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. It's almost over. If you can't get your taxes together, you can file an automatic extension form 4868, but it's no good unless you pay in at least 90% of your actual liability with the 4868, 100% on the IT 370.
Right. It doesn't delay payment. It only delays paperwork.
Right.
So if you're worried about, I don't have the money, I can't pay, so I'm not going to file, that's the worst thing you can do. File the return, because the penalty for not filing is
5% a month.
5% a month. So if you owe $10,000, your penalty is $500 per month for the first 5 months. So you're looking up to a $2,500 penalty
For the first 5 months.
Yeah. So
on $10,000.
And
then it gets bigger and bigger.
Yep. Get the return filed.
And then pay it over time. Yeah. The failure to file is 5%. The failure to pay is 0.5%.
Right.
So, you want to file.
Yeah.
And then people say to me, "But how can I file if I owe money and I don't pay?" You just file it. Believe me, they will bill you.
Right.
And then at that point in time, you can call them up and say, I don't have the money to pay. I need to set up a payment program, and they will help you. All right? If you owe money, even if you don't owe money, double check your return. Make sure that you've taken everything that you possibly can. And I will tell you, there's such confusion with the education credit and claiming the kid and who claims, and if they're working, can they still claim themselves? Yes, if your child is in college full-time under the age of 24 and you're still giving over 50% of their support, you can claim them even if they have money from wages. Then your kid files his own return. He doesn't claim himself as a dependent. So you both file a tax return. Mom and dad get the benefit.
Right. And, another big confusion is how many people do you have to – do you have your property taxes in your charity? Oh, I didn't think we
That's
could do
true.
that.
I don't know. My friend said I can't use that anymore. Yeah. Not true.
Right. I mean, and some people, your property taxes are limited to $10,000, but if you're single and you have a mortgage, you're going to be able to itemize.
And you can itemize on the state anyway.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So let's say that your property taxes are limited on the federal. It's not limited on the state.
Right.
And I know it's maybe only going to save you $400. Oh, well, I mean, $400 to me is a lot of money. Let's see, what else? Let's see. And if you find that you've missed something, amend your return. And by the way, the 2015 tax year is going to close on Monday.
Right.
So if your kids haven't filed their return in 2015, this is their last chance to get their refund.
And the thing is, it's not postmarked by Monday. It has to be in their hands by Monday. So if it's an IRS return, at least you can go downtown on Monday and get it.
Give it to them.
Yep.
Right.
New York State's going to be a little bit tough. You would have to probably overnight it today to get it to them by Monday.
Right. But there's not as much money in New York State.
Right. But still, $400 is $400.
Absolutely. Well, anyway, let's go to the phones. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to talk to Jackie. Hi, Jack.
Hi. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes.
I got a couple of questions. I'll try to be quick. First of all, I can't find tax forms just to read over what the new laws are. They're not at the post office that I could see. Do you know where I could find them?
Well, I think if you go online and just Google the IRS, irs.gov, and you can just ask any question, and they'll give you the form. They'll give you the information for each form.
Okay. I like to read them, but that's fine. That's great.
Well, print it, then read it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. The taxes that you pay on a car, a used car, is that deductible on?
What's deductible if you itemize are your medical that exceeds 7.5%, your taxes, property tax, sales tax if it's greater than state withholding, and foreign taxes, and your
Personal
property taxes are deductible. Mortgage interest on your primary and your secondary mortgage, if you have a home equity, as long as it's used for acquisition indebtedness, and on your primary and secondary home, charities are still deductible, and non-2% miscellaneous itemized deductions.
Do you know what that is for state, what the amount is?
It's the sales taxes are based upon a chart figure based upon
income.
Your income. So on Erie County, it'd be 8.75%. So you would double what the chart figure says if you're using an IRS form.
Okay, last one. Amortizing a second property. Do they still do that? And
I don't know what amortizing means. What is amortizing?
You used to depreciate?
That's different. Amortization and depreciation are two different things.
Oh.
Why would you be depreciating a piece of property? You mean rental property?
Yes.
Yes, nothing's changed. The only thing that changed on really this year is that they limited the itemized deduction, and they changed that you can have a 2%, a 20% pass through on businesses and rental property that's treated like a business, and some other modifications. But all income and deductions for income-producing property and self-employment stayed the same.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Jackie.
Okay.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Text us at 3930, and we're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the other side with your calls. Music to do your taxes by. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, with Chris Fabian here in studio. All of our offices are open tonight, 9 to 9. Tomorrow, the only office that's open is our McKinley Mall office. So if you're all coming to McKinley Mall, you should probably call and make an appointment with her. But all of our offices will be open 9 in the morning. Actually, we're open about 8 in the morning, really, until the last person leaves on tax day, and we will get you going. And I'm going to tell you, if you got to do your IRAs, make sure you get them done by Monday, because those IRA payments for this year's returns got to be in there if you're opening up and making contribution to your IRA.
Correct.
Right? Okay, the other thing is I read this morning that they're going to be coming out with a new W-4 form. And those of you that owed money this year, you know how you have to modify. And really, those old W-4 forms really didn't work. The new ones are coming out, so you want to make sure that you fill out those W-4 forms so that they accurately reflect what's deductible, all the credits and everything, so that you don't find yourself with your pants down again.
Right, but just remember, the W-4s don't ask, what does your spouse make? Do you have a second job?
That's true.
So just filling out that worksheet isn't always a good idea.
It's interesting. The article I read said, oh, my God, it's as hard as doing a tax return.
Yeah, that's what, yep, where they're going to ask you.
But again, and if you need help, EG Tax will be here to help you. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Our text number is 3930, and we're going to go to the phones and talk to Mike. Hey, Mike, how can we help you?
I just walked in the room when you were talking about something, and I think it was a 2015 tax return.
Right.
Actually had to be in their hands and not postmarked.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, have you filed your 2015 return, 2015?
I had some medical problems. 2015 is just getting filed.
Okay, you want to make sure that you get it in to the you can go down to the IRS on Monday, and isn't there a New York State office downtown?
It's not open to the public.
Oh. Well, anyway, get it down. And the whole thing is, what people don't realize is the statute of limitations is 3 years for them looking at your tax return unless they consider there to be fraud, or you applying for a refund. So if you got money coming back and you don't file that return for 2015, you're going to lose the money. So make sure, Mike, that if your accountant is doing it, that you get that thing picked up and get it in.
Well, I usually go return receipt, certified or whatever it is.
No, but it's got to be in their hands.
It's got to be in their hands. So the only way you could do that right now is if you go to the post office and overnight it if you want a return receipt. You can go to 130 Elmwood, and they'll stamp it as received.
As received, yeah. I would do that. You got a substantial refund coming?
Oh, yeah. Gonna
See, but Mike, you got to do this.
pushing it from year to year. So, but they always said as long as it's postmarked.
No, that's for when you have a liability on the due date of a tax return. But in order for you to get your money back, it has to be in their hands on April 15th.
Has to be in their hands.
Yeah, so just take a drive downtown. It's right downtown.
Okay, I thought actually it used to go out of state someplace.
No, but you want to make sure that an IRS office has the return, and there's an IRS office downtown Buffalo.
All right, on Elmwood, I think it's 130.
Correct.
Yeah, right.
All right, and what about the state?
Well, that's a bigger problem. Is the return done? Is your return done?
I'm going to go pick it up as soon as I get off the...
Okay, is the post office open today?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you could go down and do overnight mail. They'd get it on Monday.
Would overnight mail be good for...
For the state, yeah.
Not for the federal.
Well, you could overnight the federal,
Right,
too, if you
right,
want.
Right.
Overnight the federal, would I do it to the out-of-state office? That's...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, that should be no problem.
Right. Okay, Mike?
Okay, thanks.
All right. Thank you, sir. Glad that we helped. Bye-bye. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 8030930. 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We want to talk to you about your concerns. That was a good save for him.
It was.
for Mike.
Yep.
I know there are parents that are driving around right now with W-2s in their drawers from their children that worked that they didn't file, and it's going to close, and the kid's going to lose the refunds, right? Okay. The other thing is, before we get to the other phones, again, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, is if you get a letter, this is critical because especially when you're dealing with a refund, they're holding up your refund because they wrote you a letter, and you think, oh, they'll process it. If I don't answer it, they'll process it. Will they process it, Chris?
They'll process it their way, which means you won't get your money.
Right. So, especially, in New York State, they just came up with a bulletin yesterday that said that they've had an extraordinary amount of fraudulent returns filed. And so they're going to hold up refunds because they need to check these returns better, which is kind of code for they're going to slow up the refunds. Now, a way for you to get around that is to change your W-4. It's actually, what is it, the number on this thing?
IT2105.
Dot something or other. So you can change your withholding on the state. I would suggest that you have less money. If you got a refund, let's say of $2,000 in the state, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and they say, prove your withholding, send us your pay stubs, send us the canceled checks. Why would you do that? Why don't you just change your withholding so you get more money in your take-home pay so that it's flat at the end of the year so you're not sitting around waiting for the state to give you back your money?
Right.
Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
And if you need help with that, EG Tax will be very happy to help you because obviously the state has big budget problems. They're, what, $2 billion short?
Yes. Yep.
And they're going to scrutinize those returns like crazy. Not that that they should pay on a fraudulent return, but I will tell you there are people that I've seen with they're just really honest people, and the state wants their pay stubs. They want, and if you don't give them what they want, they won't give you your refund.
It's crazy.
Right. So if you get a letter, make sure you answer it. Don't ignore it. And I don't care how stupid it seems, you got to do it or you're going to lose your refund. All right? I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady, 8030930. 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and we're going to go back to the phones and talk to Jan. Dan, not Jan. Dan in Cheektowaga. Hi, Dan.
Yeah, I was selling the rental property, and what's the difference between passive and non-passive?
Okay, you want to answer it, Chris?
So,
All right. Well, all rental property is deemed passive. Okay? I don't know, and probably because if it weren't passive, it would be subject to self-employment taxes. But rental property is passive in nature.
Okay, and then what is the 1250? What's that all about?
That's That's your type of property you're selling. It's where it goes on the 4797 when you're selling.
1245 is machinery and equipment. 1250 is capital assets.
Okay, so it'd be the house would be a 1250.
Right. See, in other words, when you sell a 1245 asset, the recapture on a 1245 asset goes to ordinary income. The recapture on 1250 property is long-term capital gain.
Okay, so the recapture is what exactly?
Okay, so we'll just do simple math. You buy a rental property for $100,000 and 30 years ago, and it's fully depreciated, which means you've been systematically writing it off, and I'm not going to take in consideration the land. So you wrote off $100,000. So now you sell it for $200,000. Because you've been writing it off every year, it has zero basis because you've written it off. So when you go to sell it, you have zero against $200,000, so you have a $200,000 $1,250 gain.
Okay, so you can't. What is recapture? I mean,
it means you have to, the depreciation you took as an expense, you have to now claim as income.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, So,
And so, Dan, we can't do a tax class right here. So, is there something else we can help you with?
all right. So, you don't get the depreciation back because you've been writing it off.
Right. You got all the benefit all those years.
Right.
Now, in the year of sale, they say, what are you selling it for? What do you got left? If you got nothing left, the whole thing's taxable.
Got it.
But it's taxable as long-term capital gain.
Got it.
Okay?
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dan. And you'll do it on a 4797, right?
Right.
Right. That's why when you're selling machinery and equipment, you have to understand that when you sell it, it's going to recapture as ordinary income.
And that's the hard thing this year with the new laws. If you own a business and you have company cars, there's no more trading in your
That's
cars. You have to sell the cars on your tax return.
And it's ordinary income.
Yep.
And then you obviously you don't adjust the basis, but whatever. Okay, that's my music. I got to shut up. We're going to break for news. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'll see you on the other side.
That's the taxes going to the dogs.
I'll tell you. I'm Esther Gillius, the tax lady from EG Tax. We got today, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and your return is due. And I got Chris Fabian in the studio with me. And we're from EG Tax. All of our offices are open tonight till 9. Tomorrow, they're all closed except for the McKinley Mall. Monday, bell to bell will be there till the last person leaves the office. And I will tell you, if you're under the gun, EG Tax will help you. We got some texts here, Chris.
We do. For a kid about $6,000 in income, does he file on his own or is it included on the parent's tax form? He was 17 years old last year and still in high school.
All right. So usually what will happen is the kid's got like $500 in withholding, okay? The child files his return. The parents claim him as a dependent. The child doesn't claim his own personal, of course, there is no personal exemption anymore.
But he's got to mark the box.
Right. He says he's claimed on somebody else's return. The parents get a $500 credit. The kid files his own return. The kid's going to get all of his money back on the federal. That child right here from whoever texted in is going to probably owe the state money.
Usually, yep.
And so you want to make sure that return is postmarked by Monday so that he doesn't get a penalty from New York State as well.
Correct.
So, yes, mommy and daddy claim him. He files his own return. He gets all his money back on the federal. On the state, he's probably going to owe some money.
I mean, this year, all the teenagers and college students are very happy this year because the increased standard deduction has helped them tremendously.
And that's one group of people that really have fared well, the kids.
Yes.
Right? All right, I'm Esther Gillius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We got Margaret in NT. Hey, Margaret, how can we help you, my dear?
Esther, just a few minutes ago you said that it had to be in their hand by Monday.
Well, that's for the 2015 return.
Oh, if it's filed electronically today, will it be there by Monday?
Are you that for 18
or 15?
18.
18 is the due date for the return is the 15th. Okay, you can file it electronically on Monday. It's fine. What we're talking about is the 2015 return, where the refund will not be received unless it's in the IRS's hands by April the 15th.
Oh, okay.
The 2015 return.
Okay. Thank you.
It's very confusing, I know, Margaret.
Okay.
Thank you for calling, dear. Bye-bye.
Yeah, it would made it simple if we could still electronically file 15, but they turned off those computers at the beginning of this year.
Right.
So.
All right, so let's, again, 8030930, 8030930, star 930, 3930, and somebody said what a nice job you did for him.
Yep.
Chris, you do a great job.
I try.
You do a great job.
And I'm going to just reiterate, only the McKinley Mall is open tomorrow. I just got text from our office saying, "Are you guys saying our office is open?" No, only the McKinley Mall.
Only McKinley Mall, right. Now, that doesn't mean that our staff won't be in there doing some stuff, but we're not going to see people tomorrow. All right, what if you don't get your refund? And this is really, really important. First thing, if you did it yourself, was it rejected?
Right.
I did a tax return about a month ago now for a lady who came in for me to do her 2018 return. And the kid was claimed on the wrong parent's return. And the education credit wasn't done. And the refund that the mother was going to get was like $5,000 or $6,000. She has never gotten back to me to finish the 2018 return. Her 2017 return rejected. So I'm waiting for her to call me so that I can fix her 2017 return that she did it herself. And like a $4,000 refund is just sitting out there because her return was rejected. Now, if you're somebody that, if it says it rejected, it means that the IRS doesn't consider to have gotten your return. Whatever they said is wrong, you got to fix.
Yep, they stopped it and sent it back to you.
Right, so you got to fix it or you'll never get your refund. And if you wait long enough, the statute of limitations will eliminate that refund altogether. So if it was, check to see if your refund was rejected. The second reason you should check, like, where's my refund? You might be being audited.
Yes.
Right? Before they give back the money, they say, you know what, we need you to prove this one particular area.
That's what New York State does.
Right.
New York State said you're guilty till you prove yourself innocent. The IRS, you're innocent, and then they say you're guilty.
Well, yes.
IRS will give you.
Sometimes they won't send it back without the proof. You know. All right. So, did you move and you haven't received correspondence? Because let's say you started off in February when you did your tax return, and then you moved. You didn't have your mail forwarded, and you don't know that they've been writing you asking for information. You need to be proactive.
Yes.
And I know it's a pain in the butt to have to wait on the phone a long time, but it's money. It's your money. And if you're not proactive, you lose the refund. Didn't we have a client that it wasn't our client? When this happened, he wasn't our client, but didn't he lose like $500,000 or $600,000 in refunds?
Yeah. Right,
because his accountant didn't file his return
Correct.
timely?
Yep.
And there was nothing you could do?
Nothing. We tried everything possible, and it all went nowhere. They said sorry.
Because if you aren't out of the country and you miss that deadline, you lose your refund, and that's why we're talking about 2015.
Check.
So
you're also. How about check your account number if you're doing direct deposit?
Oh, that's another thing. Many times people think they know their account number and they put it down and it's the wrong one. Well, your refund, if it's the wrong account number, will be rejected and it turns into a paper check.
Yes.
Hopefully,
because otherwise, if it's still a good account number in the bank, it will go in that other person's...
to somebody else's bank account.
Yep.
Again, you have to be proactive. I mean, electronics 99% of the time is flawless, but every once in a while there's a hiccup, and it comes back on you where you have to double check. Again, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and 3930 if you want to text us. Thank you, my kid.
Oh, it was the gentleman from before.
Oh, that's nice. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh. What if you owe? That's so many of my clients that have come in the last few days. What to do? And I think we said file the return. That's the most important thing.
If you filed the return and you still owe, mail them what you can.
Right.
Mail them, and then in June and July, they'll mail
write you a letter.
Yep, and then you can pay the rest off if you can save it up.
Right.
Because, I mean, a payment plan is always an option.
Right.
But they'll charge depending on the type of payment plan, whether you want direct debit, whether you want to write them a check, whether you're low income, whether you're high income. There's all these different fees out there for the payment plan. So if you can do it over 2 payments, 3 payments, do it yourself. Don't do an unofficial payment plan.
Now, before you go on that payment plan, if you have the ability to pay, it is the best thing to do to pay them because you want to make sure that you don't have to be subject to the penalties and interest that you're going to incur because it's not preferential. One of the things I said to one of my clients is borrow against your 401k or 403b at work because at least you're paying yourself back the interest.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And it's getting a little tight right now because I don't know if you'd be able to even facilitate that quickly. Again, home equity credit lines. Maybe you write the check to pay the bill out of the credit line of your house, and then borrow the money against your 401k and reimburse the credit line. But there's things you need to do. And again, let's say that you can get the money in 2 weeks, then pay it in 2 weeks.
Right.
The penalty would be so small that you won't even. It won't be that much money at all. The important thing is you want to shorten up that payment program.
Yep. You know, one thing I realized with doing the return this year with the change of the withholding tables and the tax laws, even though people are complaining they're not getting that big refund, and you say, well, just tell the government to take $50 extra out of your paycheck, and then you'll get your big refund again. And they're like, Nah, you know what? I'll leave it like this. I still have a refund.
Right.
You know, so they're waking up to
that is very true. That has happened. That many of my clients have said, you know, I don't need that extra $5,000 withheld out of my paycheck. I'll do it this way. Yep, that's true. All right, the other thing is do a tax plan. I mean, sit down now if you've finished the year and you have to say, okay, what can I do to reduce my overall tax plan? And one of the easiest thing to do is to put money in your 401k, 403b, or IRA. Because that money is gone from the tax return. It's in your account, and they can't even tax you on it. And especially if you got a match at work. I think we drum this in all the time. That's one of the easiest things that you can do to reduce your taxability, right?
Yes.
The other thing is buy investment property. Investment property qualifies for the qualified business income if you treat it as a business. You get the 20% pass-through deduction on QBI on rental property, and that's so simple to do.
Yes. Yeah. You know, but you have to run it as
like a
business.
Correct.
And that's where we can help you get you right in the right train, the right whatever. I'm losing my mind right now.
Poor Chris. All right, we're going to talk to Tony and Clarence. Hey, Tony, how you doing?
Very well, Esther.
What's new?
I know you won't lose your mind. Both of you. At 12:15 this afternoon, a fellow named Rick Edelman on his show on this station used the term safe harbor.
Right.
By that, he said, if you want to take and send your return in, you have to pay, ask for an extension. You have to pay the same amount of the tax you paid last year.
That's exactly right. In order to reduce the penalty, correct. Get rid of the penalty.
Okay, that's all I heard that, and I said I'll ask Esther.
That's true. So let's, when people have a balance due, the first thing we do is a Form 2210 to eliminate the penalty. Because if you haven't paid in this year an amount equal to last year's liability, then they can charge you a penalty if the amount you owe them is more than $1,000. But if you owe less than $1,000, there is no penalty, and it's an interest-free loan from the federal government.
Okay, I just want to also say hi to Tiffany.
All right, she's at the office slaving away. We'll tell her that you said hi, Tony.
Send my regards.
All right, thank you, Tony. Bye-bye. I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and 3930 if you want to text us. Okay, so the other thing is buy a business. I mean, buying a business is a great tax shelter because it gives you a lot of latitude. You can hire your family, which maybe you won't be happy that you did it. But
wait,
no,
what?
Chris is my son-in-law. I'm happy I hired him, and Tiffany's my daughter. I'm happy I hired her. But I mean, and you can work them like dogs too. But buying a business is a great move that you are the decision maker. You can decide what kind of pension plan that you have, and it's a wonderful thing to pass on your business to your heirs. So buying a business, and if for those of you that are interested, you can go to bizbuysell.com, BIZBUYSELL.com, and there's existing businesses that are for sale all over the United States, Western New York State, that give you an opportunity to become a business owner, an existing business. And if it was making money before, it'll make money again. And remember, you got the 20% pass-through on businesses now.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen, I'm like, when you do the return, we're so used to just doing the return, we're going over and I'm like, what's that? Oh my gosh, yeah, the QBI. Because it's still new to us too, and it's a nice benefit. It doesn't help with the self-employment tax,
right?
But it does help with your income tax.
That's right. All right, we're going to go to the phones, and
He's still on the phone.
He's on the phone with her? Okay, we won't do that. The other thing is, now
we're good.
Okay, I'm going to talk to Gracine. Hey, Gracine, how can I help you?
Hi, yes, we were in to see you earlier.
Yes.
This week. Anyway, I'm wondering if it would pay for me to come in with the last 2 years' taxes to go over them.
I'll tell you, it certainly doesn't hurt because once those years are closed, you can't open them up again. So on Tuesday, after Monday, we're just open up for anybody that wants to come in. We'll be very happy to review it, and there's no charge, so it's a good idea, Gracine.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, my dear.
Sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you can call, make an appointment. Again, we'll be open on Tuesday going forward, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
That's right. And by the way, all of our branch offices close on Tuesday, so you want to make sure that if you have your tax return to pick up at a branch office that you go and do that on Monday as well. Let's see. So, and the other thing you need to do this year is, are things changing in your household? For instance, are you expecting a new child? Okay. I just said to a gentleman today, so they had 2 children. It saved them $4,000, and she was walking in, and she had a little belly, and they're going to have another child, so that's another $2,000 they'll get next year. Do you have children turning 17?
Right, because then you lose the $2,000.
That's right, and I had a gentleman today say to me, why would they do that to me? And I said, it's the law. And he said, well, that makes no sense to me.
What it is that because you have the child tax credit and you have the education credit. Right. Unfortunately, there's a few 17-year-olds that go to college.
Right.
So they're not going to give you both credits. So they don't do this or that.
Right. They could have said you can take the child tax or the AOTC.
Right.
But they just fixed it so that all people, when their children turn 17, lose $2,000, but they get a $500 credit. Woohoo! Well, but that's
I know $500 is better than nothing.
And you have children going to college next year because all things being equal, unless the kids have a full scholarship, you're going to save with the $500 credit and the $2,500 credit and the $400 credit, you're going to make out about $3,400 better.
Right. And if you're thinking, oh, my kid's on Excelsior, I don't get that credit. No, you do, because you're still paying the fees, and the fees count as
and
part
books.
of tuition. Yep.
And books. So you may not get the full $2,500 credit, but you'll get a part of it, right? Yep. The other thing is, are you getting married? That's a change in your situation. Are you getting a divorce? And of course, now if you're paying alimony, it's no longer taxable if you have a divorce that's
final
this year.
Yep.
The alimony's not taxable anymore, and if you're paying alimony, it's not deductible, which is a big change, right?
Yes.
If you're custodial parents, who claims the kids? Really important. If you can get a husband, a spouse, the spouses together in the room, and figure out who gets the child and the even though it's not a family anymore, but it kind of is, because I think you're always like tied emotionally because of the kids. You can find out that it might be better off that she claims the kid on the tax return, but she gives the right to take the child tax credit on his return.
Right.
In other words, she gets head of the household status and everything.
She'll get head of household, earned income credit, the child care. So there's a lot of benefits for that.
Especially if mom is getting the earned income credit because she's getting a lot of money. But dad, if he is not the custodial parent, he gets the $2,000 credit. So
And
sometimes it works out. I had a client the other day. They're getting a divorce, but they're friendly. They move next door to each other because they have a child together. And in this situation, mom is a lower wage earner, so she's going to get the full earned income credit.
Yeah.
And she's going to be head of the household. He's going to claim the child tax credit, and he's going to give her $1,000 of what he gets.
Yeah, sometimes I was just going to say it. Sometimes it's pays to be nice to your ex, because you can do things like that where the wife might make $12,000, where claiming 3 kids on their return
wouldn't do her any good.
So then you're leaving $6,000 on the table.
Right. That's right. All right. The other thing is job change. If you're changing jobs this year, or if you're thinking about becoming self-employed, remember there are no longer expenses that you can take as a miscellaneous itemized deduction on the federal. You can take it on the state, but if you're self-employed, everything that was deductible is still deductible.
Correct.
So self-employment becomes very popular. How many have you had Uber drivers this year?
Yes.
Has anyone made any money?
Very little money.
They make very little money.
Because you got the mileage, and then you got the Uber fees and their cell phone. So, yeah, after all that, it's usually very little. But it's still, I had a gentleman, and he loves it. He's an old taxi driver, and he's like, I wish Uber was around earlier. I'm making more money now than when I was a taxi driver.
So self-employment. And self-employment has lots of benefits to it, especially if it's a business making money. And don't forget, your office and home is still deductible if you're self-employed, and you have a room that you're using regularly and exclusively for the production of income. And the other thing, another change is the death of a spouse. And in the year of the death of a spouse, you still file a joint return. The year after the death, then you revert back to either a qualifying widower if you have children in the home, or a single taxpayer if you don't.
Correct.
But one thing yesterday that I had with a client, his brother had passed away, or his uncle, and he was the executor, and he didn't know that he had given away all the money. He didn't know he had to do a fiduciary return. So if you're in control of an estate, your responsibility is to do that final return, and any money that the estate made after the death of the person who passed away, before the money's distributed, if the money exceeds $600, you have to do a fiduciary return.
And this is where you hear us preaching all the time. If you talk to your parents, talk to your aunt and uncle, your brother, put beneficiaries down.
Oh, that's so important.
And
that's really what happened. Yesterday, he came in and he had a $55,000 1099-R in the estate of Uncle Paul, or whatever his name was. And he said, but I gave the money away. Well, but still, you got to do the fiduciary return because it went through the trust. Now, had he not given the money away, he would have paid at 37%. So a trust is very, very, very costly, especially if you're handling it. So you got to make sure that if you're handling an estate, that's another thing to be careful of. And of course, when you don't get good at handling an estate, how many times do you do this in your lifetime? Right.
So, hopefully once.
Okay, well, our time is up, and we're going to go back to the office and prepare returns. And on Monday is our final day, and EG Tax will help you. If you have any questions, you can go to egtax.com, and we're happy to answer your questions. Until next week, I'm Esther Gulius, the Tax Lady. God bless you. Thank you for all that you've done for EG Tax and everything we can do for you. Thank you.